Hello and welcome to Complexity Limit's Guide to the Heroic Shriekwing Encounter, written and produced by Crzypck in coordination with Complexity Limit, presented by Herman Miller. Shriekwing is a two-phase encounter against an oversized, very angry bat. You'll want to start the encounter in the front of the room near the stairs. Put a marker down behind the corner of the stairs out of line of sight of the boss. You should use Bloodlust on pull. The tanks will need to swap after every cast of the Exsanguinating Bite. This will put a 10 stack debuff on you, causing you to take increased damage and reduce your healing received. One stack will fall off every 1.5 seconds, so just swap after each time this ability is cast. Shriekwing will periodically target a couple random players with echolocation and then cast Descent at them 8 seconds later. Descent causes her to jump on top of you, dealing damage and leaving a sanguine ichor puddle where she lands. Targeted players should move toward the edges of the room, whichever edge is closest to you. Do not drop this on the raid marker though. The boss will periodically cast Ear-Splitting Shriek, a massive raid-wide AoE ability. Anybody hit by this will take a large amount of damage and have a sanguine ichor pool spawn underneath them. Fortunately, this ability can be line of sighted. Remember that marker we said having up in the front of the room behind the corner of the stairs? If everyone stacks there when Ear-Splitting Shriek is being cast, nobody's going to get hit by the ability, nobody takes damage, and you don't get any extra ichor pools. You should probably do that. The next mechanic to know about is called Echoing Screech, where Shriekwing will turn towards a random player and start spitting out little silver sonic orbs. If one hits you, you'll take damage, be horrified for 3 seconds, and then the boss casts Descent at you. This is the kind of thing that's just really bad, so don't get hit by the orbs. You can actually bait them a bit by having melee standing on the side of the boss. If she targets one of those melee players, then the orbs will end up going down the side of the room, away from most of the raid. And look, I know what you're gonna say. Yes, the orbs look really cool, and yes, I know you want to run into them. Just don't. Resist the urge. You need to kill the fight, not run into the orbs. Lastly, there's two minor mechanics you'll deal with in Phase 1. Wave of Blood is a pretty boring, just group-wide AoE that needs to be healed through. There's nothing really else about it. And Blind Swipe is a frontal cleave ability targeted at a random melee player. Just move so you don't get hit by this, unless of course you're trying to grief the healers, in which case by all means, let yourself get hit by this. When Shriekwing hits 100 energy, which is at about 1:45 into the fight and then 4:15 into the fight, she'll enter Phase 2. To start, she'll jump in the middle of the room and cast Blood Shard, which makes her immune to damage. Next, she'll cast Echoing Sonar, which creates the same little silver orbs as Echoing Screech, but in all directions. In this phase, the orbs will be bouncing around the room for the whole duration of the phase. If you get hit, she casts Descent at you. This is bad, don't get hit. The real problem comes if you get hit by one of these, it can start chaining Descent onto other players, and all of a sudden you have 4 or 5 people dead before you know what happened. On top of that, Descent in this phase is still going to drop the puddles of the ichor, and on Heroic, the puddles of ichor never despawn. The better you handle this phase with the ichors, the easier subsequent phase 1s are going to be. As a note, you can tell the locations she's about to cast Descent at. They're signified by a stationary silver sonar circle on the ground, so if you see one of them, be sure to move out of it. After she finishes her cast of Echoing Sonar, she'll slowly walk around the perimeter of the room looking for people. If she gets within 12 yards of you, she'll instantly kill you, so run the heck away. You'll actually see a visible red circle around her, indicating that 12-yard range. She will also cast Ear-Splitting Shriek twice in this phase, so make sure you line of sight that. You can use whatever pillars you want to line of sight this, just do not let it hit you. After 50 seconds, she'll re-enter Phase 1. In your second Phase 1, you'll likely actually be able to utilize the same positioning you started with up in the front of the room, depending how good or bad you did with the puddles. By the third Phase 1, if you get it, you'll almost certainly need to reposition. We recommend moving to the southern end of the room, and down there, instead of using the corner of the stairs, you can hide behind a pillar for Ear-Splitting Shriek, whichever one of the pillars down there has the least amount of puddles around it. And that's pretty much it. Go put down this oversized, very angry bat, grab your purples, and let's get into some of the more interesting bosses. Thanks for checking out our video. Now that you know how to kill the boss, be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for the rest of our guides, kill videos, and a whole lot more.